It's our annual Halloween episode, and boy, do we have a show for you guys tonight. Our special guests in the studio are the hosts of the MARTINI SCALE movie podcast. They are here this week to count down the top 10 most iconic scream queens in movie history. It's going to be a fun show, guys. And as an added treat, Derek finally saw the movie Halloween. He'll tell us about it tonight. He'll give us his take on this week's The Scare Guy Show.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Welcome to The Scare Guy Show, your home for horror movies, conventions, haunted events, and all things that are scary fun. My name is Jim. I'm your managing editor. We have a lot of friends in the room tonight. But first and foremost, I want to introduce to you the host of the MARTINI SCALE movie podcast.
Hello, I'm Natalie.
Hi, I'm Sean.
Hi, I'm Lena.
Welcome to the show tonight, guys. And you guys will be helping us count down the final girls. I just listened to your last episode all about your favorite horror movies. That was hilarious. That was great. And so we can't wait to talk to you guys. Who do we have on the couch tonight?
Which end do we start at?
I think Derek.
Hi.
Let's start with Derek.
Oh, yay, they're cheering for us. Hi, my name's Derek. I'm a regular on the con guy, and I'm on the scare guy more often because I got conned into
Listen there.
being scared.
And I'm Katie, or the Scare Guy Final Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also usually on the Twitter for the Scare Guy as well. So.
And I'm Cheeseman on the couch here with a microphone, live here on the show with thescareguy.com.
Sounds like he's on the remote. And also in the booth, keeping us going, is our engineer and producer, Ryan Nilsson.
Ryan Nilsson here, guys. Thank you for bearing with me for the start, but we're here. We're going to have a fun time. I am digging this conversation today. The Final Girl, Halloween season's full blast. Loving all the parties and vibes, and so excited that we have martinis in studio.
We have martinis in the studio. The martini host, the martini...
Scale.
The
Martini scale.
Natalie's the martini
scale.
host. That's fine.
Yes.
You would think that we've already started. You are the martini host, and you are going to actually mix a martini for us tonight. But first, we had a Halloween party just a couple days ago, and
Friday night,
and you were there, and I am so sorry, I did not know you were wearing a costume, but
It was
You
a
sound
lame
like Dorothy
costume.
at the
It
end
was
of
very
Wizard of
lame.
Oz.
All right.
It's okay.
And we're going to talk through a couple of these costumes. This costume right here, this is Rick and Morty. And Luke, who are you?
I am Hopper from Stranger Things Season 3.
That's right, and then that's that guy's from Top Gun. But and if you can go ahead and this is Natalie. Like, can you guys guess what her costume
Natalie,
is?
what were you? I can't tell what.
Ace Ventura.
That's Ace Ventura, of course.
Come on, the tutu, the hair.
How silly of me.
All right. And this is Brad. We never hardly see Brad, but of course we see Brad as the butcher.
And of course, he's covering his face. He's a butcher.
All right.
I cracked up when I saw him walk in.
I thought it was hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
We took him to another party the next day. People thought he was a dishwasher.
Oh.
This is Luke and our good friend Cassie, and she is Rosie the Riveter. All right, and this is Derek. Who are you?
I'm a punk version of The Flash.
And who
The
is
And
Golden
also
Age
the
Flash.
lead singer of Live.
Apparently.
And who's your wife?
Yeah, my wife is punk Wonder Woman.
And in the middle is someone who's been on the show before. Who's that?
Yeah, that's my sister Danae. She's a punk Aquaman, but gingerbend. Kind of like Mira, but she was really going more like Aquaman with the tattoos.
Yeah.
And I got to give Derek a little bit of
Spent a lot of
credit,
time with it.
a lot of credit. He actually shaved his head and did a fake tattoo.
Yeah, so I drew the wings on my head, kind of like the ones on Jay Garrick's helmet, and then I did
a giant
did a
tattoo.
fake tattoo of a lightning bolt, which is still on my chest, and wore that mesh kind of shirt. Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
And
That
then we
was
did
so
a
good.
Wonder Woman logo tattooed on my wife's arm, and we had these fabric pins, and we were able to draw stars on her jean shorts. She looked awesome.
All right, next. This is our friend Johnny. He came as what's his
Hunter Thompson.
Hunter Thompson. Yeah, Fear and Loathing.
Oh.
I love this one. There's
Ian
That's
Malcolm and John Hammond from Jurassic Park. And even painted his beard white.
Yes. And this is Luke. He's Hopper again, and then my friend Jose from
He's wearing the
Things.
Stranger Things Scoops Ahoy
Oh,
outfit.
hey,
And
I'm in there.
this is Katie. Katie, what is your costume?
I was tits in a box, a gender swap of Dick in a box from SNL.
And we told you guys to keep your language clean.
Yeah, seriously. You're going to get that E rating for us on
Yeah.
iTunes.
And I think that's all we have of those
For
photos.
E as for everyone.
No picture of Lena in her costume?
Oh, wait. Lena, what was your costume for the night?
Okay, guys.
No, seriously.
It was me in the 90s.
What does
was
that even
Lena at 16.
Yeah.
What does that even
Like
mean?
a 13 going on 30
Yeah,
thing.
because
Yeah.
all the 90s clothes are back.
Yeah.
So I went and was a 90s girl.
Or
How about
like
that?
the fabulous show Pen 15.
Yeah.
She would have fit right in.
I have heard about that. I have not yet watched
Oh,
it,
God,
but
it's
I heard I need
fantastic.
to.
Mm-hmm.
Because The Lonely Island had something to do with that, right? Like they produced it or something.
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Some people did. I think they did. I don't know for sure.
I don't think so.
10, 15?
Yes.
What you said?
Yes.
that? But anyways, great costumes. Do you guys have any more costumes you're gonna be wearing this week?
I'm going to repeat the same on Thursday for Halloween. So,
I'm going to be a shark.
yeah.
In the 90s?
Shark in the
90s shark?
90s.
We have a very special night tonight. Here is why. Somebody in our midst, we have talked about the movie. As you know, my very favorite Halloween movie or horror movie of all time is the original 1978 Halloween, and I watch it multiple times every year. We've gone to special double feature screenings this year. We've seen it a couple times, but on this last Saturday, I had the great privilege of sharing it with my friend on the couch, Derek. Tell me what you thought, man.
Let's see. Well,
He
my
closed
sister,
the blinds to make it
That's true.
dark during the
My
day.
sister
Okay.
and my wife were there too. They had never seen it either.
For the first part,
Yeah.
we had to watch it in the middle of the day, all the sunlight, so we made it as dark as we could. No,
And gimlet pumpkins.
No, we were listening to your podcast.
Yeah,
and
I
we-
was like, you can't do that.
I
Because
did
you had that experience.
That was my experience like 2 months ago. So yeah, I'm right there with
And that's not okay.
I did
No,
not, however,
you
close the
need
blinds.
to prep it
Yeah.
for the
Yes.
best watching experience.
We did,
We
Derek.
don't-
Well, I mean, I guess if you really like being scared, you could do that.
Yeah.
So here's a take, and let me get through the whole thing.
Okay.
But and this is a little weird comparison, but when I saw Casablanca for the first time as a teenager, I had heard all the quotes from the movie in every other movie for ages, all of my life. And so when you first see something like Casablanca that's that iconic, it feels cliche because it's influenced everything else. So watching something like Halloween, after I'd seen The Mask, or that Michael Myers mask on everybody, and people had talked about the movie, I've seen other horror movies that have probably derived some things from it. It didn't have quite the effect on me that it probably would have if I had been alive in 1978 and seen it then. Or even if I'd seen it as a kid, I probably then would have had nightmares and never wanted to sleep again. So there was part of it like, okay, I can see aspects that are well done and aspects that I'm like, yeah, you can tell it's age, you can tell there wasn't much of a budget. And I would say generally when I watch slasher movies or anything like this, when I do, I don't often care much about the characters because they make so many bad decisions or they're just really horrible people. Laurie at least she's not a horrible person. She's a bit better than her friends. She's still not great with some of it. And then you get a lot of people just, doing all kinds of stupid things throughout. But, and so like coming out of it, I was kind of like, okay, I thought it would be scarier. It wasn't too bad. But then last night, I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. And walking back to bed, I had to walk by a window. And for some reason, that's when I started remembering all these images of just like this white mask with the hollowed eyes just kind of like fading in behind glass. And I was like, why am I thinking of that now? And so I would
Because you
say
should have watched it at night.
it's just not a good idea. I would say I can't say that it did not have an effect on me because obviously it did because things come back in the middle of the night. It's a metaphor.
Now, was this your first exposure to the entire Halloween franchise? Like you'd never seen the reboots, none of that?
I've never seen any of the movies.
Wow.
I've seen people
Oh, wow.
dressed as Michael Myers a lot. I've seen some Mike Myers movies. Apparently,
Started you on Halloween
Those are scary.
Resurrection, then you would have
people.
loved the movie.
But the thing that was really cool is I had something I'd never noticed before, but Derek noticed it, or either you or Laura, you guys together were talking about how every character who gets killed, they leave all the doors open. The only one who shuts doors is Laurie Strode. And she shuts and locks every door she goes through.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Next time you watch it, because everyone, the car, whether it's the car door or
Yeah,
the
and
back
for some
door,
reason, all the doors are unlocked all the time until
Yes.
Laurie's running away from Michael and has to actually get out.
then everything's locked.
Then there's like, then the door's stuck and there's a rake leaning against it, and yeah. I mean, like so many things in these movies, they're defying the laws of physics when you try, the guy gets pinned to a door with a knife stuck through him and his body doesn't slump. Somehow he, rigor mortis sets in like that. Yeah.
Something I noticed this time, because, at the end, it seemed like that really picked up for you. But, it seems like horror movies today have the feeling of the scene at the end where they're getting chased and know they're being chased by a killer at the beginning of the movie. Like in Scream, where this, started all that, and then they saved it for the end. Had it been made today, there would have been more scenes like, oh, I'm being chased by some masked guy, and where everybody there's just kind of surprised and choked, and they don't really have much time to react to that, you know.
Laurie's the only
It's a
one,
slow
yeah.
burn for today's movie-going audience and what we're expecting now. So I don't think you could make a horror movie like that right now.
The first time I saw it, like, or tried to watch it, like, a few years back, I didn't get through the whole movie the first time because I thought it was just slow, and I might have just been really tired. I think I was really tired that day.
No, it's slow. You're right.
But then I finally watched the whole movie, I think, one of the years it was at Horror Nights. And I haven't seen any of the other ones, but I've heard, you know, like, with that, it's all building up for all what that comes out after it, too. So,
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't my, like... I don't know. I feel like I didn't like it as much as I'm supposed to when I first saw it.
I think, again, it's like creating a
Same.
good environment to watch it in because
Yeah.
the isolation that you feel and how, like, that this person is watching you and stalking her and that kind of slow kind of creep into her life. To me, that's the really fun part of that movie that not a lot of horror movies actually have because you are going, especially right now, you're going right into the killing and all of the fun stuff and the Drew Barrymore opening scene where somebody's getting gutted right away.
Yeah.
So to me, that makes that really, really special. But it makes it more special if you're watching it by yourself at night and
In
then
the
have
dark.
to pause and walk around your house with a knife and, you know, getting that, like, anxiety and scare, that's the fun part.
And what's weird to me is that the fact that it didn't scare me as much because I don't like movies that take place in a house because I live in a house and I have to think about it like what you said. So normally a movie like that would hit me very psychologically and I'd be like, okay, I'm sleeping with the lights on. But I don't remember that having that reaction the first time I saw it. So
And I do think so many things about it just were done more effectively than other classic slasher movies. Like I saw Friday the 13th for the first time just a few years ago, and so much about that I'm like, oh, we don't even find out anything about Jason until the end. So for the whole time, people are just getting killed for no reason at all, and like that just I don't know, for some reason to me, what?
Fun. I'm just...
Okay. Keep going. For some reason, I think it's better when there is some kind of a story in there. Even if with Michael, we don't have particularly a motivation per se. It's just that he has no sense of right and wrong. It's just pure evil. But that, in a way, still is some kind of character development, so there's some kind of reason why this is happening.
So did you see The Strangers? Because that's like kind of the antithesis of what you're describing, right? Because there's no motivation whatsoever. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, you
I wonder
did.
if I would like it.
Ooh.
You have to see The Strangers.
great.
That was my number 1 on my list, by the way.
Yeah, I want to see
Yeah.
that.
All right.
My
That
favorite
was
It's
one.
been a
We
while,
are-
and I haven't seen part 2 yet.
We are going to move into the next section, but let me just tell everybody there's a reason why I have a bottle of wine on the table. I don't know if you can tell.
An
This
empty
is,
bottle of
It's
wine.
it is empty. Yeah, we have drunk this because this is called Final Girl Wine. It is from Peter Lankuki. Is that how you would say that name?
I like the sound of cookie.
I like the label.
Lankuki.
Yeah.
He is
Peter Lankuki.
he is a horror screenwriter here in Los Angeles, but he has opened up a winery, and he calls it his wine label The Final Girl, which I just thought we
I
had to
love
bring
that
that on the
label.
show.
yeah, it's a cool label.
And here's what's cool. Like, we saw him at a, me and Luke, and then your wife, Laura, was with us. A bunch of us were up in Solving.
Our favorite place.
I know, I love it. And we were up there, and he was actually displaying his wine during a wine festival. And of course, you say, oh, it's the Final Girl wine. It's going to be kind of, whatever. It's a gimmick wine. No, this stuff is really, really good, as evidenced by the fact we drank it really quick. And all the people that were in that place with us, they all were buying the Final Girl wine. And this guy has ripped, well, I can't talk about that. I got to tell you about the script he's writing. It's amazing.
Oh,
I love it.
interesting.
So anyways, if you guys get a chance, they are not a sponsor of the
It is
show.
located in some places in LA, so you can
Yeah.
look them up, and they have a lot of cool marketing pictures on Instagram and social media where they kind of like play into the whole horror thing. So they fully embrace that with their marketing.
I love the branding.
Final
it's great.
Love it.
Girl
And it's good
wine.
wine.
They also responded to me for the comment that I posted on your guys' post about it. So
Oh,
they're
did they?
also really good at social media, apparently.
Oh, fun.
Well,
Their
you guys are-
engagement's good.
Anyways, that guy's a lot of fun to talk to. All right, we are moving into the section of the show that everybody has tuned into tonight. We are going to talk about the Final Girls, our favorite Final Girls. But first, we want to find out a little bit about the Martini Scale podcast. Tell us a little bit about it.
Sean?
Don't look at me. This is you, Natalie.
So it's our podcast where we rate movies based on a Martini scale that we created. And so it's a reverse star system. So the idea is, how many martinis do you need to drink for this movie to actually be good? And so, if a movie's great, we always like to start with 1 martini because we like to drink. So 1 is our base level, and that's a great movie. We'd watch it over and over again. And 5, we need to be blackout drunk and probably
not
pass out in the
remember.
theater.
Yeah.
And so that's how we rate movies. So we'll do a bunch of different varieties of episodes where we'll combine a couple of movies. We'll do Netflix and chill or Netflix or chill as a series. So we have spent so many hours searching through Netflix to figure out what to watch. So we kind of do the work there for you and kind of tell you,
That's
is
cool.
this something that you should Netflix or should you just chill and do something else? So we've got our last week we had our horror episode where we talk about our top 5 favorite horror movies. Each of us put
It
together
was
a
a
list.
great episode, I must say.
Super fun.
Yeah.
And then we've got an upcoming episode which we're really excited about. It's going to be an indie special looking at Jojo Rabbit and Parasite.
Nice. Have you guys seen those films yet?
Yeah, we
They're
just saw them.
fantastic.
They're
Oh,
so
yeah?
good.
Yeah.
And once in a while, we mix in like episodes with like our favorite in a particular genre. So like top romantic comedies, top horror. Like we just did the top horror that Natalie suggested. Yeah, it's fun. It's been really
Best
fun.
of Julia Roberts.
Best of Tom Hanks.
I love the way you completely tore into Pet Sematary, the remake.
Oh,
It was,
that was
That was
very
a 5.
hard.
That was a 5 martini movie.
yeah,
that was rough. That was
Yeah.
really rough.
Too
But-
much atmosphere.
And then with each episode, we create a martini for every specific episode.
Let's be clear. When she says we, she means Natalie.
She.
Natalie
I
is
created-
She
the martini
does.
host.
And she surprises
Yes.
us each time.
They never know what it is, and then we're drinking throughout each of the episodes.
It's kind of like Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. Is it-
Exactly. And then a lot of times we record 3 in a row. So by the 3rd episode,
We
Oh
are
my
a
gosh.
little tipsy.
9
Very
martinis in. So you create a special martini for each episode.
Yes.
And they're not all good.
Okay.
I'll just be
Yay!
honest.
2 haven't been good.
Listen, sometimes they taste like cough syrup. I think we just have
That-
to.
okay,
we have to
that
put it
was
out
a
I
there.
would
very-
There be
say
a
for a
martini
while.
scale of the martini scale?
I've thought about
that.
that. I've thought about
Yeah.
like rating the martini.
Oh,
at
that'd be
the
a
end
good
of the
idea.
episode. Let's start doing
we
that.
should do
Yeah.
You'll
But
rate
like-
those with movies or
Totally.
popcorns or something.
New segment. Tune in.
How many popcorns do you need to eat to get that taste out of your mouth?
Now, do your martinis,
That's funny.
do they relate somewhat to the topic of the night?
Always.
They are always themed for whatever we're talking about. Whatever movie.
Do you have one for tonight?
And I do have one tonight. So this is the
Halloweeny teeny.
Halloweeny tea.
Halloweeny teeny.
I originally it was Halloween martini, and she was like, or Halloweeny martini, and she was like Halloweeny teeny, and I was like, oh, clearly, like,
Sounds so much better.
So I could pour for you guys.
Yes, please.
We have some for you
And
guys.
they have
on
already
the
poured
couch.
for theirs down there. And I do want to introduce the fact that many of you who are watching, if you've been watching for a while, you have seen Natalie on the show before.
Yes.
You were on here 2 years ago because you are a producer on a very cool horror movie called
Fear Inc.
Fear Inc., which I loved. I absolutely loved that.
Yeah.
And can people see this movie now?
Yes, you can. It is available on iTunes. Right now, we're actually running a special through Halloween. So you can rent it for just 99 cents, or you could buy it for $4.99, which I think you should just buy it, and then that way you'll watch it every Halloween. It'll be great.
Be on your
So,
list.
and then support indie film. I think that's really
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah.
I'm going to shake
Absolutely.
up this martini.
And Lena and I have
because
actually
it-
have a piece of trivia about Fear Inc.
All right.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, do that by the
We're
mic.
in it.
We need that sound
Oh,
effect.
yeah.
There we go.
If
That,
you-
You guys hear that?
that
If
is
you
a
look,
real martini, not a
when
sound
you
effect.
go to iTunes to buy the Fear Inc.
Please buy
movie,
it. Don't rent it. Just,
and
it's
it
$5.
shows the
Come on, people.
preview or trailer, you will see Sean and I in the movie.
Oh, you guys are in the movie?
Very
That's
briefly.
it.
You'll see the
Don't-
back of my
don't blink.
head.
Well, Luke and I came
To
to
the top,
the
to the
red.
top. There you go.
Luke and I came to the red carpet
Oh, too many
premiere.
up here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was so much fun. I remember you guys did a really good Q&A at the beginning.
That was at the Chinese Theater.
Yes.
For Screamfest.
Yes.
Yes. It was really, really fun. It was an exciting night. I
we
still
had
need
an
to pour
extra
one for
martini.
myself.
All right. So while she does that, Luke, you were getting ready to say something? I'm sorry.
I was not. I'm just fascinated by what's going on here.
Oh.
It's like this just turned into a bar up there.
I know.
Okay, now, so what about this drink makes it appropriate to
Well,
tonight?
we also had something that was in this that would make it a little
Oh,
fun,
yeah.
but
What
it,
are the
mel-
final
it melted away
ingredients in
already.
it?
We had some technical difficulties before
Yeah.
the show, and so
so
our
We had dry ice. It was supposed to bubble and
Be
smoke while you
spooky
drink it.
and yeah.
just imagine that.
But it is
Yeah.
a blood orange martini.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Black salt.
It's sugar.
It's a
yeah,
sugar
black
rum.
sugar.
And the other thing I have to say about, with respect to like our social channels, so Natalie is awesome and she makes the martinis every week, but then she also takes like this amazing shot of it for our social media. So you'll
And
see.
we put up
like,
the recipe, so if you
Yeah.
like it, then you can go on the social media and actually make the martinis.
So I want to know some of the other martinis you guys have done. So
Yeah.
things like
Wow. Oh, I can't get on.
I think
Yeah, you can.
what are your
Joker-
favorite ones?
I did not like the Joker at first.
But I lit it on fire.
Oh,
Okay.
that's perfect.
Yes.
What did you call that one?
The Joker.
Just the Joker. Okay.
So that was her least creative moment.
Yeah.
We have to be honest.
I think her
They're
favorite
not all.
one.
They're not all genius.
I'm gonna go with her favorite one is the the crayon.
Oh, the Catch Me If You
Oh,
Can.
Catch Me If You
Oh, the Catch Me If You
Crayon.
Crayon.
He has your horror
Oh my
movies
gosh,
one right
Oh,
here.
look at that.
So that
Oh,
was
that's
our
That's our Halloween one.
bloody cranberry martini.
Yeah.
So I used crushed cranberries and infused it with the vodka, and then I made the sugar rim with the blood. It was real blood.
Yeah.
You guys didn't
Of course,
mind that,
of
did
course.
you?
I've always wanted to know. Do you actually do like research
Yeah, that's
for
the
this?
one on
How do you-
fire.
Joker and
That's the
Jexy.
Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys like Jexy?
No.
I laughed.
I laughed.
It was
Oh,
okay.
It's funny.
It's okay.
I had a few moments of.
But that's a very
enjoying
interesting
it.
combination.
Yeah.
And then there's one more for you.
So
was.
this is
Definitely.
our screwdriver martini.
Yes.
So this was from our Netflix and chill.
It's basically a screwdriver.
It's just a screwdriver
in a martini glass.
I had some triple sec in there, so that made
yeah.
it a martini.
Yeah.
And it was fresh squeezed orange juice.
Look, you had a question?
Should have had it on a couch.
Oh.
Oh yeah, and then this is our Hustle Finch martini for hustlers and the goldfinch.
Hustle Finch.
Hustle Finch.
Hustle Finch.
Yes, Hustle Finch.
And it's gold.
All right, let's see one more.
Let's see. Oh, and then this was our midsummer martini.
How did you get the name for that one, Natalie?
You came up with it on the air because I just called it the
Like
summer.
the color.
Oh, can I
The
ask you
summer
a que-
martini,
since
and then
this
he was
is all-
like, "Why wouldn't that be the midsummer martini?"
It
I'm like,
reminded
"I've
them
been
of
sick for
Midsummer,
2
yeah.
weeks."
Absolutely perfect time. Real quick, did you guys like the Midsummer?
I loved it.
I didn't see it.
You liked it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Wow, I haven't
Really?
heard. I have not heard very many people.
I
say-
don't think I ever want
refuse
to watch
to
it
see
again.
it. I
It's one of those
refuse.
movies that I think you want to see and appreciate for what it is in terms of like film.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that it's something that I ever want to watch again.
Did you see Hereditary?
All right,
Same thing. Yes.
Same thing.
Let's
Okay.
cheers.
That's why I didn't. That's
That
why I
actually
didn't.
scared
cheers,
me.
everybody, as we
Cheers,
start our
cheers.
list.
Why is
How
it
did we
Cheers.
magically get drinks over here?
well,
again?
I'll
And what are
take
they?
that one.
And what are the
Best
ingredients again?
bartender.
So this is vodka, a lot of it. Orange juice, fresh squeezed blood orange, triple sec, a little bit of blood orange bitters, and by is that what it's called?
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye?
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and they have a blood orange drink, so I put a little in that
Oh
for a
man,
little
that's
spritz.
good.
It's actually delicious.
So, the last question before we get into the final
This
girls.
is one popcorn.
Oh,
did
You
love
only
you.
need one popcorn.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I love popcorn.
How did you get? How did you become an expert in making martinis?
I just
She got a whole bar set, and she
Yeah.
loves. They're all gold, and it really makes her happy to shake them around and
yeah.
Nice,
mix
nice.
things up.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and begin as we start talking about our favorite final girls. And can somebody please, for the two people out there who don't know what a final girl is, somebody give a definition of a final girl?
Can I just say that before yesterday,
Yes?
when I was told what we're doing for this episode, I did not know what a final girl
So
was.
he should tell
Oh,
us.
So
seriously?
I might be the appropriate
Yes.
person
Yeah.
to speak to that.
Yes.
So my understanding, based on I think what you told me about this, it's the last girl to survive in the film, in a horror movie, right? That's the
Main star.
crux of it. Okay.
It's a trope that kind of started back in the 70s, I guess I would say. Even though some of my favorite final girls are even earlier than that. But like Black Christmas had a final girl. Halloween had a final girl. It was basically, I don't know why it started. It just was something that started because it was scary to see at the time what you'd call a defenseless girl having to fight off a really terrifying person. And I think today's final girls are a whole lot different than back in their, in this, I'm scared days. Today, and Laurie Strode was, I would not put her in that
And is that
category.
also part of like where the horror movie like rules?
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
there
the
like
big-breasted
there's-
blonde that runs upstairs.
Right. The
Yeah.
virgin,
Yeah.
this, that, yeah.
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 All right. So we are going to start with our host from the Martini Scale. And if you guys, we're going to start with Lena. And we're going to start going around the table and throw out, did we decide on 2 or 3? And
I have 3.
All right. And I'm going to start keeping our list. And let's keep a look on the clock. And when we get down to 10 minutes, we're going to whittle this down and make
So
our
we can do
tally.
one each, like one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's typically the format for our show.
Sounds good. All
Okay.
right.
I'm going to go with my first final girl is Erin, played by Sharni Vinson from You're Next.
Ooh, good
Why?
one.
She's badass, and she kills everybody in the movie.
That movie is brutal.
It's great.
I'm not super familiar with Your Next.
So it's like strangers. They're all like a family gathering out in the country, like alone, and they just start getting taken down by these people in masks, animal masks. And it turns out that Erin's character grew up in a survivalist community. So she knows how to survive, and she knows how to kill lots of different ways.
And is that like a twist? Different ways? So that's a twist.
Yeah, she kills a guy with a blender. It's great. It's like my favorite. Yeah.
Death by Blender.
It's a very good pick. Yeah. Very, very good pick.
I love that movie.
Has anybody else seen that here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to a special screening of it.
Okay.
Did you really?
I did, yeah.
And you call yourself not a horror fan.
Honestly, it was thrown by someone who just was like, hey, I'm doing this, who wants to go, and gave out tickets. That's the only reason I went.
Great. Yeah, it was good. It's so good.
Sean.
All right, so my first pick is someone from a quite recent film. This is, I think, it's one of my most recent favorite movies. I think it hits all the notes that you want in a film like this. And I think that she is perfection in this role. And I think that if you can not only survive as a final girl, but as a bride on your wedding night.
I was gonna...
It's Samara Weaving, and she plays, and I wrote this down so I don't mess it up. It's Grace Ledomas. Did I get that right?
Grace, yeah.
From Ready or Not. Fantastic movie if you haven't
I
seen it.
really like it.
You were going to put that on your list.
Yeah.
I knew it.
It's very good.
That everybody keeps thinking is Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
I totally thought it was Margot
I
Robbie.
thought it was
I'm guilty
until
of that.
after the film.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
really?
should play sisters sometime.
Yeah. Oh, there she looks.
And she's gorgeous.
She's gorgeous.
Like even like
She's
half
so
dead
funny.
in the film.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous.
very
When-
captivating.
When she started using, mild spoiler alert if you guys have not seen this movie, she starts using her wardrobe to help herself.
Right.
And I was like, this girl's really got that survivor mentality.
Right.
Like, she is in it to survive.
And that scene
I
of her
loved
on
it.
the
She was
steps
smart.
at the end
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
iconic.
Smoking the cigarette.
So
Yeah.
amazing.
So great.
That's great.
I love that
Good
one.
choice. Okay. I'm gonna do. I'm such a basic B. I'm sorry, guys.
She's not joking.
You can say that word.
I have one that's on there.
I was trying to be so clean.
We gave out some guidelines for language before.
I know. I just was thinking.
really
I'm like,
restricted
did I
us,
say
by the
something
way.
bad? I forgot.
Can I just
They
say
only
that
use the F word.
the
There's no other
martini
swear.
scale is a bit more adult. Since
Oh yeah, we
do
can't
have an
really
explicit
control
with
it
all the
all.
martinis
Yeah.
that we're drinking.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Especially
I'm
when
gonna
they
say
get the
Sidney Prescott from Scream. Like I
Absolutely.
think to me in my day and age, she is somebody that I grew up with, and it felt like the first time I was seeing somebody actively fighting back and running towards the killer and trying to come up with ways to like hide in the closet and calling him. And it was like, whoa, it wasn't like she was constantly trying to survive and run away. She was trying to defeat the killer. So I thought that was really special to see. So I just, that's my favorite.
Good choice.
Oh, I get to be part of
The
this.
cheese.
So we're like starting just at like the top. We're not even kind of working our way
We're gonna work that.
No, we're
saying
just
that
putting
that's my
names out.
top.
No, we're just putting
just
names
listing
out
people.
there.
Okay, we'll put some names on here. So
What do you got?
why don't we go? Well, I don't want to take this from you, so I'll
Yeah,
go
don't
ahead
take
and
that
just
one.
jump into Nancy Thompson from A Nightmare on Elm
Oh,
Street.
take mine.
Yes.
Then. That's fine.
Oops.
That was my next one.
No.
Okay.
And why?
Well, we'll let you elaborate on that, but it's just, she's a good she's been in several movies, and she's a survivor, and like I
she
like
was
how
in-
she like faced off with
She was in
Freddy at
3
the
of them.
end.
Yeah, like almost every one in the franchise, and I feel like she was in like the first one and then the last one, right, to kind of bookend things.
And the third one.
Yeah, but I'm saying that like she managed to
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah,
survive the entire
Trilogy.
franchise, so
well-
to speak. Ish. Yeah.
Eh,
Did she die at the end of the last one?
I don't want to ruin it. Are you talking about?
Are you talking about New Nightmare? or are
I'm
you
talking about the final. Is it the New Nightmare?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Okay.
kind of a different kind of
If you haven't seen
thing.
it in 20 years, you're probably not going to
Oh
see
no, no.
it. That's my theory.
She
Spoilers.
she did not survive all the movies.
She didn't.
No.
Which one did she die in?
I don't want to ruin that
gosh.
for you. Part 3.
Oh.
She died in part 3. Then
Yeah.
how does she reappear in the New Nightmare?
It's a big no,
Well, New Nightmare is kind of a different thing. She's playing the actress
who plays.
So it's like the Halloween
Nancy,
reboot. We're
and
supposed to
then
forget
Freddy comes
that-
into real
No,
life.
but you are correct. No, you
In a
are correct. She
nightmarish way.
did. She has bookended the series in a very cool way.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's a really good choice.
So she stayed in it for a long time, and she's just continued to play that character and has done a great job.
And I actually felt like she kind of looked like she hadn't slept in the 10 years between.
Oh.
So it just kind of like it was fitting for the franchise.
I think she is the epitome of the Elm Street series.
Absolutely.
She is the final girl of the franchise. I agree.
Yep.
Does anybody on the couch have one?
Yeah, I was gonna say the Ready or Not one because I just heard Survivor Mentality is just phenomenal, but also Dana Polk from it says Cabin in the Woods.
Yes.
It's been a while since I watched the movie, but when I was watching the movie, I was like, it was so different than what I was expecting, but also what I was expecting. But I just like there was some scenes in that where you did not think it was gonna end well at all.
No.
And then you're like, oh, she pulled through. All right, okay. So I did like that one because that movie was, like, with the name like that, you're always kind of, like, going into it like, oh, is this going to be really, like, 5 martinis type movie?
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
It was a lot of moments where you would think you would give up. And things that were so beyond just like, oh, just a killer. Like, it wasn't just that. So it was... I remember watching it and feeling the same thing. Like, there's no way she's going to make it through this. Like, there is no way.
Like, it's in the woods, and those never, ever go well, ever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Derek, do you have one?
I've got one outside the box. I'm going to say Allison from Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
There you go.
Because she survives because she makes friends with the guys and realizes they're not killers at all.
I like that.
Also,
you
that movie is awesome.
It's
I love that
awesome.
movie.
I highly recommend that one.
I've never heard of this film.
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
I've never seen it.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
It's
I know,
on,
I need to see this.
Oh, it's
It's,
Tucker
uh,
Labine.
It's on Netflix.
Yes, Tyler Labine. I love him.
What's the plot?
It's these two redneck brothers living that have their own cabin in the woods, and all of a sudden these teenagers show up, and the teenagers are apparently really clumsy and careless. Like, one of them trips and falls into their wood chipper, but when the other teenagers see it from a distance, they think that these guys are killing them all.
Yeah.
And so they come after these guys
It's like
to fight them.
a horror comedy.
Yeah.
So Allison, I forget exactly how she gets injured. They bring her inside to try and help her, and they think that the other teenagers think that they've kidnapped her.
Yeah.
And so it's a big misunderstanding kind of comedy of all that, and
Yeah.
it is hilarious. It's still very bloody, lots of deaths happen, but
Is it
it's
Alan
not their
Tudyk?
fault. Yes.
Yeah,
Alan
Alan Tudyk
Tudyk,
and Tyler Labine.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I just
That
love
sounds
that
awesome.
Derek is the one who suggested this.
Yeah,
'cause
it's great.
He's not really into horror movies
Well, if
very
you're not
much.
into horror, I
That's
think
great.
horror comedy is the
Yeah.
great kind of combo
Yeah.
of genres that really can ease you into liking it a little bit more.
Yeah, wait till you hear my next one.
All right.
Ooh.
Hey,
I
Ryan,
was
do you
gonna
got
say-
one for
Ryan.
us?
Oh.
Oh boy! By the way, this is not a genre I'm an expert in, but if I'm gonna throw one out there, I'll go with Wendy Torrance because she's the final girl in The Shining.
The Shining.
I thought about that one too.
That's pretty
I
good.
did think about
Probably
I remember
not
her name.
renowned as a final girl character, but she is.
She is.
Yeah.
She
She
is.
really is.
She
survives.
absolutely
She
is.
fights her way out of there.
She
Yeah.
saves Danny, and I mean, hey, you don't get Dr. Sleep without Wendy Torrance.
I know.
Yeah.
That's actually a good one. I would not have thought of that. That's a really.
Yeah.
I like it because it's outside the box of what a traditional trope of a final girl is.
It is.
And
And on
take
the
a moment
horror
and say-
comedy note,
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, I just want to say, Natalie, if we ever find ourselves on camera again, please, no black sugar rim. What is
Yep,
this? What's
I know.
happening?
Is
I
it
realized
all
it.
over? I know. Do you have any more?
are you making a mess?
Black sugar?
Oh, we have an extra martini. over
Martini?
here.
Oh, we
Did
have
you
another
want-
one. Yeah. You really took that down. There you
For the
go.
record, these are really good.
This conversation needs two.
Oh yeah, he needs another one too.
All right.
I'm gonna go with Tree from Happy Death Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was on my list too.
I love her. She's so funny. Jessica Rothy.
Roth.
Do you think that movie would have been? She carried the movie. I think.
Absolutely.
I don't.
She was great.
I don't
And
think the
for
movie
being-
was as good as she
And
was.
for
in
being
it.
coming out of nowhere,
Yes.
she totally held that movie.
What'd you think? Did you see part two?
Yes, I
did.
love it.
It was wildly
I
different,
I
I
heard.
need to see
but
that
kind
one.
of very interesting
Yeah,
how they
very
kind of took
interesting.
another spin on that.
And we have something in common. Her birthday is my birthday, so that's why
Oh
I love-
no!
You
Do
two
you
need to
die every
celebrate.
day?
I know.
I actually saw the second one before I saw the first one. This is a
yes.
common
Right.
theme with me in
Yes.
film. I will typically
It
see the
is.
sequel prior to the first one. And I actually liked the second one very much. I think it can live outside of the franchise.
I heard some people like the second one more than the first.
I do. For sure.
It's definitely interesting.
It's got some like sci-fi
Different- yeah,
elements to it that
yeah.
are so
Different.
different than the first.
And it has like a heartbreaking story with like the mom.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just like it touched me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
I
it.
remember you saying like I'm not
It
supposed to
tickled
get
me.
emotional in a
Natalie
movie
likes to
like
say,
that.
Natalie likes to say she gets tickled by things.
That's why like it's
She
like
gets
a good
tickled to
feeling.
get touched.
No, it tickled me.
It-
Oh.
I'll say
Okay.
it tickled me.
Speaking of which, what's your next film?
Oh, am I up again?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So my next one is one of the scariest films I've ever seen in my life. And it's a reboot. There's an original to this, but the reboot is the scariest one to me. And so my final girl pick is from that film. It is Jessica Biel, played Erin in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot.
She really.
She did a great job.
And the things that
I
she
love
had to
that movie.
endure and that she saw in that film, I'm like, she absolutely deserves to be on our list.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I agree.
Love that movie.
I don't know what to do next because I have two that I'm kind of wavering between. Am I going to get to go again?
Yeah.
Do them both.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I
Just say
have
them
one
both.
more.
Do them
I have
both.
one more.
Okay, then I'll do one right
She's
now.
like, you're not gonna. Yeah.
And I feel you've got somebody else mentioned this earlier. I feel like,
Go
but
for it.
Sarah Connor from Terminator.
Yes. I had
So
that
the first
too.
one, because I do feel like
It's on your list, yep.
the first Terminator is more of a horror movie than the rest of them were.
Yeah.
And I think it was almost that kind of die-hard character where it's like you're just kind of like thrown into this situation and how do you survive it? And I just think it was really, really fun to kind of watch her not know this person or this world or why she got pulled into it and just survive.
And
I
you're
agree.
right. A lot of people wouldn't think of the Terminator movies, or at least
Yeah,
they
I
wouldn't think of them
didn't.
as horror films. But the first one definitely fits that. You have
Yeah.
this young woman. She's innocent, and through no fault of her own, some supernatural guy who's super strong is coming after her, killing everybody in the way, and is pursuing her, and she has to somehow overcome that.
It's still a monster movie, you know?
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
got red eyes. That's terrifying,
And
right?
still
Somebody gets
pulls
killed
up.
right through the mouth with a
Oh,
long
gosh, yeah.
finger. Best.
That's Terminator 2.
Oh, okay.
Which is the best one, I believe.
Yes, I love Terminator 2, but I do
love
like
Still
Terminator
ain't better than
but-
part 4.
Yeah.
That's a joke, by the way.
I'm like, what?
Come on, yeah.
You're talking
Good
about Genesis. now.
choice.
I don't like any of those movies.
All right. Wait. You don't like any of the Terminator films?
Wait, you don't like the first two?
Oh my goodness, we have to move
People
on.
are pissed.
No judgment, no
Sorry.
judgment, no judgment.
We've got to just keep this going. We can't dwell on that.
Yeah. And Jim hasn't said his yet. We know who Jim's is.
Wait. I'm going to wait, and if someone doesn't bring her up, I'm just throwing cups down.
We're not saying
We just
we're not saying it
purposely
because we
know
know
you
who
guys.
it is.
Cheeseman.
Should I go funny like Derek?
Give some-
Unexpected.
Just pick
Yes.
one.
Cindy Campbell. Does anybody know who
I
that
know
is?
who she is
Who?
from Scary Movie.
Yes.
Anna Faris.
Jeez.
Oh,
I
She was
almost
so
put her
good
on mine.
at. She was so good in those movies, and it was so funny because I was such a big Scream fan. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, and like I didn't really know much of who she was back then, but she was just so funny and so like engaging, and did such a good job in those. So I put her on my list.
Good. I like it.
I love it.
Katie.
I'm trying to think of other ones that aren't like the really known ones, and because I just saw it, I'm gonna say both of the girls in Zombieland. You know, I don't remember their names at the moment, but I know who plays them. But they,
Emma and Abigail.
yeah, they
Abigail,
both
who was in your film.
Yes, Abigail was
they
in
both
Fearing.
survived 2 movies of the zombie apocalypse. But
Wait,
they also
I haven't seen
I haven't
part
seen
two
part
yet.
two
they
yet.
both also
Spoiler.
completely.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, come on.
We're pretty sure they're gonna survive.
I mean, did you all
That
think?
just
2 weeks,
came out
though.
2
It's
weeks
not
ago.
like it's-
That's a pretty fresh
Yes.
spoiler.
But
That was
they,
fresh.
but
Ryan's sounding
Don't tell me
shaking
if
his
Woody
head.
made it or not.
Yeah,
they
Come on.
definitely like kick ass in those movies.
yeah.
I mean, they were at the top of a carousel, or as I call not a carousel. What's the things that go
Ferris
straight
wheel.
up?
The
No,
thing that shoots you
Ferris
straight in
wheel.
the air. The
what are those called?
The
Oh.
It's
Oh,
the
that,
drop
yeah, yeah.
ride, whatever
Yeah,
you
like-
call it.
Like the power tower.
Yeah,
kinda
they
thing.
literally
That's what it is at Cedar
used that
Point.
as a way to protect themselves.
Did
and
you
it was
see
great.
Point?
I love Cedar Point.
So
Is that what they
Oh,
filmed
that's
there?
one of the
Random.
best
I don't know,
parks
but that's
There was Six
out there.
Flags. I thought
Unless
they
you've
had-
been there,
ever.
you would not know what that is.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I think people out there know what Cedar Point is.
Sorry
know what Cedar Point is?
that
Derek,
I spoiled
no,
Zombieland
Derek.
too.
I-
It's like
County.
nuts.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have
Not
said
We're
that,
not gonna get that.
but
No.
I fully agree. Derek, do you have any others?
I do. Also, outside the box.
Of course.
Okay, not the scariest, but it was enough to scare me as a child, and probably my favorite scary movie still is Ernest Scared Stupid. And you know, you don't really have murders per se, but it's pretty scary when like kids are being turned into like little wooden dolls.
Yeah.
And that's effectively death. They just happen to be fine at the end. But I would consider the final girl to be one of the lady characters that Ernest does, because he snaps in and out of all these weird costumes and stuff. So the lady that Ernest plays, who says hairspray will fix anything. That's my other final girl pick.
That's nice. I'm not writing that one down.
Oh, come on, Jim.
Lena.
Well, my next one
I'll write it
is
down.
from a series of movies. Well, what is it? It's 3 movies, and she's normally it's very 2000s. Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yes.
Yes.
She was
Last
on my
summer.
I know
list.
what she did
Glad
last
you brought her
summer.
up.
Good choice. I'm proud of you.
Everyone
on
forgets
your
about
list.
because I knew
Interesting.
we forget about her and we forget about those movies because of Scream and
Yeah.
it's like, but I really enjoyed those movies.
No, I still
what's
know
her line
about
in
those.
the
I
story?
wrote it. What are you waiting for, huh? Yeah,
Now, she was on my list, too. I kept on trying to remember her as well.
yeah.
Did you know they're rebooting that?
What?
Really? Can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian. Did you have another one?
I did. I had another deep cut. Well, it's not that deep, but it's basically, I'll just say one word. Clarice.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next one. There you
From
go.
Silence of the
one.
Lambs.
No.
I think that's an incredible final girl, and it's also
Man.
the film's about her and her relationship with Hannibal Lecter and just finding this evil guy and the way that the entire movie you don't really know if she's going to make it out the first time you're seeing it. So I think she's an incredible final girl.
But especially with like Buffalo Bill, her kind of facing down that's kind of her real final girl moment. Because, you know, Hannibal kind of like had this kind of like sweet spot for her, so he didn't necessarily attack her, but she did have that
Yeah, in that
Buffalo Bill moment in the
basement, and she's-
basement with the lights
Ooh.
off and all that.
His
It
hand
is
behind
Give me back my
terrifying.
dog and like screaming and
Oh yeah,
crazy
just
and all
everything from the beginning, like the opening sequence, seeing her train and get in the elevator. She's the only woman. It's just an incredible, really awesome movie and done by an incredible filmmaker. Rest in peace.
And may I add, she's from West Virginia.
Is she?
Clarice is the character.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
And she kicks butt.
Nice.
Yep.
She does.
Smart lady.
All right, now, you gave yours. All right, Sean.
Sean.
I was told to pick 3.
All right.
Oh.
But he shared Nancy.
All right.
Yeah,
let's
that's
say
right.
Liv Tyler and the Strangers because
That's
that's
great.
Yeah, you
No,
should.
that's
You
a
love
good
that
one.
movie.
Does she survive that though?
She does
Don't
not.
say it. Oh, my gosh.
She's the
Okay,
final.
it's been for like 20 years. Let's calm down.
All
Just
right,
watch
all right.
the
That's an
second
exaggeration.
one.
Well,
10
by
years.
definition, does a final girl have
she
to
have to
survive, or
live?
should
I
she
don't-
just be the last one to die?
Yeah.
Because Cabin in the Woods,
Oh, you're going to give another spoiler?
Well,
I
and the
was just-
final girl, she was technically the final girl
Yeah.
by
She was.
definition.
This is
But,
true.
like,
Okay.
True.
you kind of get the idea the world's going to end anyway at the end of that movie.
And it's possible that she
right?
survived. We don't know.
They don't really
In,
say, yeah.
in my mind, she
Yeah,
did.
because if you don't see him die or if the killer pulls him from the bottom of the bed at the end of the movie, like in some movies, they still know what you did. Doesn't mean it's that they're dead.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking final girls.
Okay,
That's
Natalie?
a spoiler in and of itself.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we're getting down to our time.
Because I can never remember her name because it's not
Yep.
whatever. This is my favorite scary movie of all time.
I know what it is. I listened to your podcast.
Yes. So the character, it's Sarah Carter from The Descent. And if anybody has seen this movie, it is the most terrifying movie I've ever seen in my entire life. If a movie was made for all of my fears, this is it. And I know already I don't have any survival instincts. I'm not surviving anything. This particular instance that she is put in under, there's no way I'm surviving. I am dead. So the fact that she fights as long as she does is shocking to me because I would have given up the first second that shit started going down.
You're stronger than you think, Natalie.
Nope, I'm not.
All right, we do have to hurry.
Now there is a couple major ones we
have
haven't
to
done.
hurry.
So what's the one you wanted to do? Because then I'll do the other one.
We have to do
Laurie.
Laurie Strode. It's
Okay, you do that
impossible
one, I'll
not to
do
do
the
Laurie
other
Strode.
one.
She's on there. Okay.
Okay, well, tell us why, Jim.
Because she, except for Black Christmas, I think she's the one who kind of started the whole trope of the final girl. You know, the good girl, the virgin girl, the girl who's smart and brainy. She's the one who does not die.
And one of the most iconic films of all time.
Because it's my favorite movie.
Yeah. Really good film, and we talked about it earlier.
All right, go ahead.
Missed that
Cheeseman.
segment. So we did not bring up Ripley.
Ripley.
Ellen
Ripley.
Ripley.
We have to bring up Ripley
She
from
was on my
Alien.
mind, but I had to make some jokes. So
All right,
Did you want to take this one? Because
No.
I know you've done some
hey guys,
joking.
we're down
go
to
ahead.
3 minutes.
But yeah. So Ellen Ripley, definitely a survivor, facing off that terrifying alien. Changed, like, one of the best, like, women characters in cinema where it's,
100%.
yeah, just tough, cool.
I've never seen the movie.
Wait,
Sounds-
which movie?
Sounds like you need to do
Any of
another
them.
You've
martini
never seen
show.
any of? Oh my
No.
gosh, I gotta take a drink.
Yeah, that's worth a martini.
Yeah.
I would
That's
argue.
a good one to do.
Yikes.
It'd
But
be,
we
it'd be hard.
watched it together.
No.
I own it on Blu-ray.
with Martini.
Pretty sure we did.
No, I've never seen Alien.
Are we talking
or
about
Aliens.
Alien? Okay, I haven't seen it either. I'm not sure.
I think I've seen some of it along.
So one of the most biggest badasses in cinema,
Yep.
like a Sarah Connor type thing, but before that.
Yeah.
All right. Who else? Real quick, we got to finish, guys.
I think we covered everything.
Derek, did you have another one?
Yeah, actually, Ripley would have been my choice for number one until Ryan mentioned Clarice, and I think she would probably be number one and Ripley a close second, and then Sarah Connor my third.
She's been.
So there's not an Ernest movie? Well, I think it'd be hard if we didn't bring up the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Sally character.
I agree.
Sally.
And stuff, because she was, to survive that
She was
terrifying
before
thing,
Halloween even,
sit
yeah.
down at the table with that crazy family.
Yeah.
Is that
Watch
the same as the
old
Jessica
man
Biel
eats,
character?
Disgusting.
Yes.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
original.
Same one, but
She's the proto character.
Yeah,
You can
to be
take
just
that one, it's
screaming there as he's like at the end of it. It's just like a terrifying
Do you
scene.
have
but
any
she
others?
survived. And well, the final girl from Friday the 13th. The first
We haven't
one.
mentioned any of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
But especially that one.
My favorite is the one in part 2.
Alice Hardy was the character's name.
Alice, yes.
I feel like the Friday the 13th movies aren't that memorable. Sorry.
Whoa.
As a whole, they are, but I
She
think.
cut off her head.
But I would argue this.
Spoiler.
I would argue this. For the decade of the 80s, the Friday the 13th movies were the movies that established the final girl trope. More than one came out every year with a final girl. So
Not Nightmare on Elm Street? I feel like Nightmare on Elm Street is like quintessential 80s.
I feel like Nightmare on Elm
Wasn't
Street.
Corey
but-
Feldman
there are
kind
a
of the
few.
final
all right, guys,
child
we are
in
going
most of-
to break this list down into our top 10. Our top 10. I think that we should start. What do you think? Let's go ahead. What do you think is our top 3?
Definitely Laurie.
Laurie,
I feel like Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nancy, Sydney,
Clarice.
Yeah, Sydney.
Sydney, Clarice,
Clarice,
Sarah Connor.
Sarah.
Connor.
I guess.
Okay,
Just kidding,
Laurie
you guys.
Strode, Nancy, Sidney Prescott, Clarice, Sarah Connor. What about
Grace
Ripley.
from Ready or Not. I do have to say she's
I
got to
definitely
be up
think she
there.
needs to be on there.
I agree.
What's her name?
Yeah, Grace,
Grace.
from Ready or Not.
All right.
Ripley.
She's really
I
cemented
think
her place.
Aaron.
Ripley has to be on there.
You haven't seen it.
All right,
you
so
seen yours?
so we've got
Yeah.
so
like
we've got
7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got Laurie Strode, Nancy, Sydney, Clarice, Sarah, Grace, Ripley. We need 3
Go
more.
on, put Julie James on there. We want to see her on there.
Who's Julie James?
Julie too.
From,
I know we did
I know
last
what
summer.
you did last
Oh,
summer.
yeah.
Oh,
Really? You think she's on our top 10?
Low on the list.
Maybe 10.
I would say, what about Sally slash Jessica Biel?
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Both of them on
Okay.
the
Yeah, both,
one.
both
I think they're
Texas
both. Let's just
Chainsaw.
Yeah,
consider them both the same
yeah,
character.
on the
Okay,
same,
Sally,
yeah.
Jessica. All right.
I feel very strongly about Sarah from The Descent.
We're gonna put her on.
Has
there.
anybody else seen that movie?
I have. And I
I
really
have.
liked
It
it.
was a good movie.
Sarah Carter. We need. Okay,
think
so
I stayed
1, 2,
away
3, 4,
for a
5,
reason.
6, 7, 8, 9. We need
Sarah.
one more. We need one more to complete our list of who
Should we do Liv Tyler and Strangers?
Or Buffy.
Buffy's pretty good, but we haven't really
Does she
brought
count?
yet.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yeah, what is Buffy from?
Ooh.
What is Buffy from?
Is that
I love that movie.
Buffy the
Ooh,
Vampire
new
Slayer?
edition.
I think
Put her
Buffy.
on 10.
Buffy the Vampire
all
Slayer,
right.
yeah.
Okay, so that's 10.
Because Buffy and
Good
her entire
one.
series. By the way, so here we go. Laurie, Nancy, Sydney, Clarice, Sarah Connor, Grace, Ripley, Sally Jessica from Sally Jesse Raphael,
I want to see that movie.
Sarah Carter, and we round it out with Buffy. If you guys have any other things to add to the list, please let us know. If we have any special mentions, we will put them in the notes. Does anybody else have? We are starting to wrap the show right now, guys. Does anyone have anyone that we have missed? I do.
Courtney Cox.
Gail
Weathers.
Gail Weathers.
Gail Weathers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She should be
You know.
number 10.
I think Gail Weathers
Yeah.
should
'cause
be
she
in there.
was-
Yeah.
Yeah, she took leadership.
Yeah.
'Cause she was
I'm
throughout
going to
the
throw
series
out
so
Fay
very-
Ray from the original King Kong, 1932. 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever. She just
That's being
screamed a lot.
respectful.
Whatever.
Guys, thank you so much for coming on the
Thanks
show
for having
tonight.
us.
Remind us of where we can find your show.
TheMartiniscale.com.
Wow, that's pretty easy.
At the
Yeah.
Martini Scale.
All the podcast platforms are on
Yeah.
our website.
And you
you're-
can find the martinis there too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
all
Yeah. All
On
on our
Instagram.
Instagram, Facebook. It's all at the
Instagram
Martini
at the
Scale.
Martini Scale.
Yeah.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the Scare Guy show this week. We hope you guys have an awesome Halloween. Send us your Halloween pictures. We do want to see what you guys have been doing this week. I don't know what I'm going to do on what are you doing Halloween night?
We're going to watch a scary movie. I'm going to probably make this cocktail with
in the
dry
dark,
ice.
the way it's supposed to be.
Find us and follow us at thescareguy.com. Follow us all over social media at The Scare Guy. Where can we find you guys?
Derek.
Well, you can find me here on The Scare Guy or on the Con Guy Comic-Con Prep Show and on Twitter at ConGuyDerek.
And I'm Katie. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at KTChristine or here on Monday nights, but also on Batwoman on Sunday nights.
She's doing a lot.
And also tweet me your Halloween costumes because I want to see what they are.
Yeah, and Batwoman is a show here on the Popcorn
Yes,
Talk.
AfterBuzz.
AfterBuzz.
Yes, correct.
Yes. Okay. And I'm Cheeseman on the Couch. You can find me on Twitter at CheeseOnCouch and on thescareguy.com.
Do we want to go? Do you guys want to tell us?
What am I telling you?
The Martini Scale. Just find us there.
At the Martini Scale.
find all
find
our
us all
socials
there.
You can find us at the bar. We'll be drinking these martinis. All right, we'll be seeing you guys. Pay attention. I always say that. Have a good time. Stay scary. Have a great Halloween, guys. Thank you for watching the show.
Thank you. Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.